And for more on this, we're joined by France 24's Angela Diffley. Angela, good to see you. Why is China pursuing this policy so doggedly, given that we can see it's coming at such a huge cost?
Yeah, it is very puzzling to the outside world, and worth saying that at the weekend at the Communist Party Congress, Xi reiterated again there will be no change to this policy, to the great surprise of many. It's difficult to see why. It's true that vaccines in China, the Chinese-made vaccines, do not appear to be as effective as some other vaccines around the world. And they are very reluctant in China to import foreign vaccines. Whether that's a national pride thing, hard to say, but they are not importing foreign vaccines. The Chinese ones are not that effective. And as a result, vaccines are not really being used effectively as a tool. There is quite a bit of resistance to vaccines as well in China. A lot of people are very suspicious of them. This is an elderly population, and there are a lot of people very suspicious. And there has been very, very little effort to educate people on the potential usefulness of vaccines. So that's something else. On the political front, it's interesting to note that where local Communist Party officials execute draconian lockdowns, they are rewarded politically. A very important example of this is Li Qiang, who was the key Communist Party main man in Shanghai. He implemented a draconian lockdown in Shanghai, which was pretty chaotic, led to food shortages and an enormous amount of frustration. And he, in a sense, soaked up the annoyance and frustration of that enormous city on behalf of Xi, and was subsequently rewarded at the weekend. He is now pretty much number 2 in China. He is on that all-important 7-member standing committee. And that is widely seen as a reward for him having been implemented this draconian policy. It's also very interesting to note that of the very, very many cities in China where there have been lockdowns, Beijing has not had a significant lockdown ever. And that might be because there the eye would focus directly on Xi.
What about the economic impact of this policy?
Yeah, the economic impact would appear to be very, very significant. 28 cities are currently under lockdown in China, and those cities represent about a quarter of the GDP of China. That's enormous. And the GDP has gone down in the last quarter, not surprisingly. One of the cities under lockdown is the area where it is the world's largest manufacturer of iPhones. And so that area is now in lockdown. This, of course, is contributing to international companies worrying about potential disruption to supply chains. It is causing companies to choose not to invest in China and to source their supplies in other countries. So this is having a very, very significant impact on the Chinese economy. 18 to 20% of young people in China are now unemployed. This was the booming Chinese economy, which is really suffering significantly. And the Chinese leadership are fully aware of this, but yet seem determined to pursue the policy.
Yeah, there's a human cost to this as well. And we've seen protests, haven't we?
Yeah, there's been a human cost, as I say, 28 cities. That's 210 million people under lockdown in China. Wuhan, where the COVID virus was first recorded, that's nearly 1 million people under lockdown. They are back under lockdown. And in Tibet, the autonomous administrative region of Tibet, which is traditionally there are problems. It's kept under tight control. There were clashes with the police on Wednesday. It's emerged on social media. That was very much migrant Chinese Han workers who wanted to get home. They've been under lockdown for 3 months, have no income. They want to get home. Tibet is under lockdown.
Okay. France 24's Angela Diffley. Angela, thanks so much.